Every time a male mates, a beast mark would appear on his abs. The more beast marks he had, the more times he'd been chosen by a female. But these 5 incredibly handsome, top-tier beast husbands, right in front of her, had not a single mark on their 8 packs. That is because their female owner was an ugly female, dark-skinned, chubby, and covered in freckles. She lorded her status as the tribe's true heiress and snatched the 5 beast husbands, who were originally promised, to the fake heiress. But every single one of those beast husbands, the moment they laid eyes on her, would get so sick they'd throw up. Forget about that then. But she, always desperate for their affection, would secretly sneak into the beast husband's cave, only to be rejected every single time. Then, mortified, she'd jump into the river. Today marked her 10th time doing it. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaoman, who'd just taken out a zombie in the apocalypse, dying in the process, had just coincidentally transmigrated into Frya's body. The moment her eyes fluttered open, she heard a voice, dripping with disgust and disdain. Zhang Xiaoman, this is the last time you hear me. Next time you decide to take a swan dive into the river, stay far away from me. And for the record, I'm not interested in you. Stop trying to release your female essence on me. Female essence? What in the world is that? He is pretty good looking though. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, and those bulging, bronze chest muscles. But right now, his brow was furrowed with pure rage. Even if you drown yourself, I wouldn't give you mouth to mouth. What is with all this talk about mouth to mouth? Did I ever say you could touch me? Before he could even react, Zhang Xiaoman stuck out her foot and tripped Ma Suxin as he walked past. Shen tumbled to the ground. Zhang Xiaoman, you've got a death wish. But there was no way she was just going to stand there and wait. She took off like a shot. When she realized he wasn't following her at all, she slowed her pace. She took a good look around her. She figured she'd probably transmigrated into some ancient era. Just as she was pondering this, a sudden pain shot through her head. A flood of memories, none of them quite her own, suddenly surged into her mind. After going through all those memories, Zhang Xiaoman felt like she'd just swallowed a dead fly whole. Turns out the original owner was the real heiress, swapped at birth. She'd been abandoned and raised outside the tribe by a black bear, no less. That is why she was so dirty, dark-skinned, and completely unhygienic. Meanwhile, the fake heiress, Sunuanuan, had been meticulously raised right by the tribe leader's side. Naturally, she'd blossomed into a stunning beauty. The day the original owner was finally brought back, the entire tribe looked down on her. They secretly called her an ugly duckling. She was seething. Using her status as the real heiress, she snatched the 5 gorgeous beast husbands, who were betrothed to the fake heiress. And to top it off, she had absolutely no self-awareness. She'd constantly sneak into the beast husbands' beds. Because of all that, every single beast husband looked at her like she was a pile of steaming dung. So what if those beast husbands can't stand me? I'll just be fabulous on my own. She pushed aside the wet hair from her eyes, her face now composed. Then, following the original owner's memories, she headed toward her own cave. Just as she reached the cave entrance, she spotted a wolf-eared beast man scrubbing a triangular animal skin skirt. Hold on, that animal skin skirt? It looked like hers. Gray wolf ears, light brown eyes, handsome features. He often helped the original owner wash her underwear. This must be Luan Ted N, one of the original owner's beast husbands. He'd lost his parents at birth. The original owner's father found him during a hunting trip and brought him back. He raised him from a young age, essentially raising him to be a husband for his daughter, kind of like a childhood betrothed. Out of gratitude, he willingly became one of the original owner's beast husbands. However, the moment he saw Zhang Xiaoman completely drenched, his light, brown eyes swiftly shifted from concern to pure disgust. The animal skin skirt is washed. You can grab it yourself once it is dry. With that, he turned and walked away. Zhang Xiaoman stared at the fleeting look in his eyes, and she was absolutely stunned. Seriously, talk about a quick change of heart. But then, she spotted the herbs on the table, and her face fell again. Oh, original me. What have you done? What kind of mess did you get into? Those weren't just any herbs on the table. They were motherwort, the kind that soothes cramps and warms the body. It is for easing a female's period pain. The original me, trying to show off to other females that she and her beast husband were tight, lied to Luan Ting, claiming she had her period and a tummy ache, so she couldn't wash his beast skin skirt. But she'd just come back to the cave, absolutely drenched, and there wasn't a speck of blood on her legs. That is why Luan Ting had looked at her with such disgust. Zhang Xiaoman let out a deep sigh. Ugh. Looks like things are going to be rough from now on. Then she remembered she had water-based abilities back in the apocalypse, so she headed to the river furthest from the settlement. She tried reaching her hand out. Her fingertips instantly connected with the water. She held her breath, trying to gather the surrounding water. Then she condensed it into a ball and flicked it away. The water sphere wasn't big at all. Its power and attack strength were pretty weak. By the looks of it, this was only a level 1 ability. After checking out her ability, Zhang Xiaoman started examining herself in the water's reflection, and what she saw was a shocker. How could I be scythe, sefton, ugly? Calling myself dark was an understatement. My lips were thick and puffy, like a couple of sausages. My features were ugly enough, as is, but to add insult to injury, my face was covered in a thick layer of freckles, making it impossible to even look at. And I had rolls of flesh everywhere. She ran a hand through her hair. It was stiff and matted, and it felt like something was moving in there. She tried to scratch at it. A tiny, wriggling thing crawled up her fingernail. Oh my God, lice. She froze instantly, following the usual novel tropes. There should at least be a glow-up system, right? Love-struck capture system activated. A system actually showed up. Quick, give me shampoo and some lice treatment. Apologies, host. We don't have any of those things you mentioned. This is a love-struck capture system. Hold on. Did I hear that right? With me looking this ugly, dark, chubby, and covered in birthmarks, I'm basically stacked with every negative buff imaginable. And you want me to capture third-eye these husbands? What kind of epic level difficulty is this? System, do you honestly think that is possible? Host, as long as you successfully capture them, nothing is impossible. The system will grant you rewards at any time. The love-struck capture targets are the original owner's 5 beast husbands. They are Xiao Ye, Mo Xuan, Fu Feng, Nan Tu, and Luan Ting. The host needs to interact with them to increase their love-struck index towards you. There are a total of 6 love-struck index levels. Level 1, Filter Brain. Level 2, Drama Queen Brain. Level 3, Romance Novel Brain. Level 4, Devotion Brain. Level 5, Martyr Brain. And Level 6, Self-Destructive Brain. You'll receive generous rewards for each level you advance. Once all levels are completed, there will also be an ultimate gift package from the system waiting for you. Friendly reminder, failure to complete the system's tasks will result in forced system logout and termination of life. That string of brains left Zhang Xiaoman utterly bewildered. What are all these brains you're talking about? I don't understand a single one. Apologies, host. You haven't triggered the love-struck mechanism yet, so we cannot disclose it prematurely. She pursed her lips. Okay, so you can't talk about those 6 brains, but you can at least tell me about the rewards, right? Just so you know, if the rewards aren't good, I'm really not interested. At that, the system launched into its mechanical explanation. There are many types of rewards, such as wood, water, metal, fire, earth elemental abilities, and more. And of course, there are potions to make you stronger, all sorts of daily essentials and survival guides, plus hidden bonuses, and so on. So, basically, everything but making me pretty. You can give me any reward under the sun. Then why can't you just give me a reward to become beautiful? Because the love-struck system firmly believes that you don't need good looks to successfully make someone head over heels. She was left utterly speechless. Oh, come on. That is a load of bull. Who is gonna fall head over heels for someone who is not pretty? But since her life was still in this system's hands, she couldn't afford to tick it off. Looks like she'll just have to tackle this herself, one step at a time. All right, but there has gotta be a newbie gift package, right? Given how stingy you are, I'm not expecting much. Just give me a bottle of lice medicine, okay? Apologies, host. That is not within the system's service parameters. You dragged me into this book, and then you don't offer anything. Zhang Xiaoman was officially fuming. She put her hands on her hips and glared up at the sky. So what 20s dies I within your service parameters then? Querying for host now. Here are the initial stats for your capture targets. No sooner had the mechanical voice ceased than a blue holographic screen flashed into existence in the sky. Fufeng, heartthrob value, love-struck brain level. Except for Luan Ting. Not only were all their heartthrob values at 0, but their love-struck brain levels were all stone brain. She stared at the string of stone brain ratings, and her mind just completely froze. She almost even burst out laughing. I knew. Those guys couldn't be the love-struck type. The only thing that surprised her, though, was that there was actually one guy with a 0.001 rating mixed in, Luan Ting. Well, okay then, at least there is a tiny glimmer of hope. But a tiny glimmer is basically nothing. Lice medicine was definitely not happening. She'd have to figure out how to get rid of the lice on her head by herself. The simplest, most direct way was to shave off all her hair. But she was already ugly enough, and shaving her head would just make her even worse. Zhang Xiaoman couldn't quite bring herself to do that. What she really needed now was a fine-toothed comb to comb out the lice and nits from her hair. Then she'd find some herbs, boil them, and wash her hair. Behind her, a dense forest stretched out. Zhang Xiaoman immediately stepped into it. Boxwood was the best for making combs. She circled the trees, searching, and found some pretty quickly. He was about to shed his skin. Xiao Yi found a spot to sunbathe and recharge. He was sleeping soundly when he heard a rustling sound. It was too noisy for him to sleep, but when he finally opened his eyes, he saw Zhang Xiaoman's ample figure wobbling about. His brow furrowed instantly, his face etched with disgust. She knows he is about to shed his skin and is weak. so she is deliberately trying to tempt him here. She is getting more shameless by the day. Zhang Xiaoman didn't notice at all that there was someone else up there. She stood on her tiptoes, but realized she still couldn't reach the boxwood branch. So, she had no choice but to climb the tree. As she climbed, the mass of flesh in front of her jiggled even more. Obviously, to Xiao Yi, she was literally a rolling ball of flesh, especially since that flesh wasn't exactly firm, like wriggling black maggots, making him frown even deeper. Watching Zhang Xiaoman get closer and closer, he spat out, his face full of disdain. "Get down." The voice was icy cold, like daggers of ice. Only then did she hear the voice and realize someone was up there. Silver hair and purple eyes. Too bad, beneath such a handsome face, was an expression of pure disgust. What did I even do to him? He is acting like I just fed him a dead fly or something. Why can't I come up? Does this tree have your name on it? Or did you plant it? You've got some nerve. If you don't like it, then you can scram. Zhang Xiaoman's head was itching like crazy, and seeing him act so completely out of line, she just blew her top. After her quick rant, she just ignored him. She snapped off the branch she'd picked with her bare hands. Then, she jumped down. She didn't spare him a single glance the whole time. Xiao Ye watched her nimble figure walk away. A flicker of surprise crossed his eyes. She really wasn't here for him after all. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaoman dragged the branch and started breaking it apart. She pulled out the stone knife she'd found in the cave. She trimmed off the smaller twigs. Then she shaped it into a comb, and then she carved out the teeth. After a few hours of this work, a comb was finally finished. Once the comb was ready, she found a spot by the river and sat down. Facing the water, she started combing out the lice. The fine-toothed comb barely touched her hair, and it got stuck. Her hair was completely matted and tangled on her head. She had no choice but to step into the water and dunk her head in. Once her hair was wet, it was much easier to comb. As she combed it through, it was absolutely crawling with tiny brown lice. The sight instantly made her stomach churn. Her stomach kept churning, and she couldn't help but throw up. After she'd combed all her hair, she felt a lot lighter. Next, she took the freshly gathered mugwort. After boiling it in a bamboo tube and waiting for the water to cool, she washed her hair. After her hair wash, she felt a lot of the grease and lice were gone. She was still pretty ugly, but at least the lice problem was solved. Next up was dealing with her weight and her dark complexion. The road to becoming beautiful was still a long one. She sighed. As she walked on, a fair-skinned, beautiful person blocked her path. "Xiaoman, I heard you jumped into the river. Are you all right?" Su Nuanuan looked at her with that innocent angel act she always pulled. A few other females were trailing behind her. Nuanuan, just ignore her. Any normal female who gets rejected by her beast mate would be too ashamed to show her face. She should just go bash her head against a rock, and she is still walking around perfectly fine. Nuanuan, you're just too kind. One of the females scoffed. "Oh, you shouldn't say that. Xiaoman just can't help it sometimes. And as her older sister, of course, I have to look out for her." As she spoke, she stepped closer to Zhang Xiaoman. She pulled a small animal hide cloth from her chest. She pushed aside the hair Zhang Xiaoman had carefully used to hide her birthmark. Then she pretended to dab at it. If Zhang Xiaoman hadn't already known Su Nuanuan was a total hypocrite, a real green tea girl, she might have actually believed she was genuinely concerned. And sure enough, the two females with her were completely buying it. Nuanuan is just too good. Su Xiaoman is so awful to her normally, and she still cares about her like this. She is just too kind-hearted. But Su Xiaoman is really so ugly, isn't she? That birthmark is just hideous. A fresh wave of mocking laughter broke out. Su Nuanuan heard their conversation, and a faint smile touched her lips. Then she started to pull her hand back. Another successful day of showing off her gentle generosity. Zhang Xiaoman watched her hand pulling back. Her eyes narrowed. She immediately grabbed her hand, thinking of running. "No way. You love playing the green tea role so much. Then I'll let you have your fill." Her hand was suddenly yanked. Su Nuanuan was a little stunned. "Xiaoman, is there anything else?" She nodded, deadly serious. "There is just one little thing I was hoping my dear sister could help me with. I've got a few lice crawling around on my head. I can't quite get 'em myself. So, if you wouldn't mind, sis, could you help me pick 'em out?" Su Nuanuan flinched. She tried to yank her hand away, but Zhang Xiaoman wasn't letting go that easily. She practically dragged Su Nuanuan's hand and slapped it right onto her head. The moment her hand touched that fuzzy hair, she couldn't help but shriek, "Xiaoman, you've got way too many lice. I can't get them all. I'll just go find you some medicine instead." Truth be told, Zhang Xiaoman's hair was perfectly clean, but Su Nuanuan's conscience was already playing tricks on her. She was too grossed out to touch it, which made her imagine things were crawling in there. "If my dear sister won't help, then maybe you two could lend a hand?" Luo. "No, wait, Luo. We just remembered something. We've still got chores to do." She watched Su Nuanuan and her cronies beat a hasty retreat. then burst into laughter. So she wants to play games, huh? Anyon can do that. Before her laughter even died down, something white and shiny dropped out of the sky and landed in her hand. Fufeng had just returned from his hunt. He'd been standing there, watching the whole spectacle for a while. He raised an eyebrow and let out a soft chuckle. Looks like Su Xiaoman's not completely clueless after all. Su Nuanwan always puts on that sweet, generous act, and Xiaoman always fell for it. Always ended up getting the short end of the stick. Zhang Xiaoman looked up. A tall, imposing figure, wearing a feathered cloak, approached her. His expression was distant. He pointed at the thing in her hand and spoke. "This is for you today." He was really handsome. Feathers adorned his head, and he had these striking phoenix eyes. They were so expressive, like he was a real charmer. I remember him. He is one of the original owner's 5 beast mates. I think his name is Fufeng. His true form is a dragon sparrow, a 5th-rank beastman. Seeing Zhang Xiaoman holding the fish, with a look of disgust on her face, Fufeng let out a soft chuckle. What too good for fish now? How am I supposed to eat raw fish? Zhang Xiaoman stared at the freshly skinned fish in front of her, totally bewildered. Eat it, if you want. Don't, if you don't. He figured she just wasn't happy with his catch, so Fufeng didn't bother to sugarcoat it. Zhang Xiaoman shook her head. I'm not some cave woman. No way. I'm eating this fish raw. She gathered some branches and started a fire, then skewered the fish onto a stick. Fufeng had planned to just drop it off and leave, but after watching Zhang Xiaoman's little cooking show, he found himself inexplicably staying put. While the fish was cooking, Zhang Xiaoman even darted into the woods and came back with some wild berries. She cleaned out the bamboo cup she'd made earlier and whipped up a cup of fruit juice. Noticing Fufeng's curious gaze, she looked at him. Want some? Fufeng's eyes darted over the bamboo cup, the one Zhang Xiaoman had just used. He shook his head, then took off like a shot. What is his deal? Fine, don't drink it. But did he have to run away like that? After finishing her fish, Zhang Xiaoman headed back to the cave, and there, hanging by the entrance, was the animal skin skirt, drying. Luan Ting had hung it out for her before he left. She stood on her tiptoes and brought it in. She could still catch a faint scent from the skirt, a fresh, subtle hint of soberry. It was clear the skirt had been washed with great care, even smelled nice. What a shame, such a good guy was scared off today by the original owner's crazy antics. Zhang Xiaoman shook her head, carrying the animal skin skirt. She went inside the cave and settled down to think about what lay ahead. She had 2 big challenges, 2 tough things to tackle right away. First, getting prettier. Second, conquering that darned love-struck strategy system. For the first one, she looked down at her plump body and her dark, glowing skin. She figured she'd have to take it one step at a time. The second one, she thought, wouldn't be easy at all. The protagonist has 5 beast husbands. She'd only seen 4 of them so far, and every single one of them looked at her like she was a pile of crap. The last one, she heard, was off traveling, so she could put him out of her mind for now. Thinking about the 4 of them, only Luan Ting, out of all the beast husbands, was relatively approachable, so she'd start by trying to win him over. Okay, so the target was set, but how to actually win him over? That was another headache. The most basic, simple charms wouldn't work on him. Looks were definitely out. She wondered if her inner beauty could even make a dent. Looks like tomorrow, she'd have to find a way to apologize and get Luan Ting to forgive her. With her mind made up, she pulled the blankets up and settled into a bed made of animal hides. She slept soundly. Zhang Xiaoman was up bright and early and went for a run along the river. If she wanted to lose weight, there was no magic trick. She just had to watch her mouth and move her feet. She gritted her teeth and did a lap. Her whole body was drenched in sweat and sticky, so she headed to the river, cupped some water in her hands, and washed her face. Just as she was thinking about taking a quick dip, she suddenly heard a splash. Zhang Xiaoman looked up. A little ways upstream, Luan Ting was drawing water with a wooden bucket. Luan Ting, are you getting water? Let me help. She walked over, reaching out to help. Luan Ting said nothing, just kept drawing water. I know about yesterday. You're upset. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have lied to you yesterday. Luan Ting heard her out. His expression remained neutral. If that is all you're here to say, I already know. I know you probably don't trust me anymore, but I still want to tell you. I promise you, I'll never do that again. The reason I did that was because the females in the tribe called me ugly, and my beast husbands all ignore me, so I had no choice but to try that desperate move, to get you to help me wash my clothes, to show them that you were good to me too. After she finished apologizing, Zhang Xiaoman turned to leave. But then, Luan Ting walked past her, carrying the water, and said, without much emotion, "No, I'm not upset with you." Her eyes lit up. Before she could even ask a happy question, the system suddenly lit up. Congratulations, host. You've successfully charmed Luan Ting. He has gone from a stone brain to a level 1 filter brain. A filter brain is a love-struck state where someone is selectively blind for love once they fall for someone. They see that person as if they have a 10-level beauty filter on. They'll unconsciously magnify all their good points and automatically ignore their flaws. Zhang Xiaoman heard all that, and her mouth couldn't help but twitch. Talk about a love-struck fool, she thought, and level 1 was already getting to her. After looking at the panel, her stomach started rumbling. She looked around, wondering what to rustle up for breakfast. I remember yesterday, when I was looking for herbs, I saw some eggs by a wild pond. I'll go grab them and make some fried eggs. Soon, Zhang Xiaoman reached a reed bed by a lake. She found 6 wild duck eggs with green shells. She lifted up her animal hide skirt, flipped it up. Carefully, she tucked the 6 wild duck eggs into her animal skin skirt. Then she walked out of the reeds. Xiaoyi never really cared for the tribe's usual breakfast. He always preferred to find his own food. Yesterday, while he was sleeping in the reeds, he saw some wild ducks lay a few eggs. He figured they'd make a good breakfast. But just as he'd timed the ducks leaving, a hand swooped down from nowhere and snatched all the eggs from the nest. At first glance, it looked pitch black. He actually thought it was a bear. He was just wondering if he should fight it to get the eggs back. That is when he noticed that dark, lumpy hand didn't have a single dark hair, and it was all jiggly with flesh. He realized it might be a person. Just as he was trying to get a good look at who it was, the person suddenly bent down. Then they lifted the animal skin skirt they were wearing. Xiaoye figured they were going to do their business, so he quickly turned away, ready to go. But the next moment, she actually put the eggs inside her skirt, exposing her strong, sturdy thighs. Then she slowly made her way out of the reeds. Those dark, thick thighs, and all that jiggling flesh. Who else in the whole tribe could it be but Zhang Xiaoman? She must have known I was here, and came back just to tease him. Xiaoyi's brows furrowed, and he was about to unleash a tirade. But then he watched his perfectly good breakfast being snatched away by that fatty Zhang Xiaoman. His face was livid. She is already so big. What is she eating for? But in a flash, she was already far away. Then she started looking for something suitable to fry the eggs she was carrying. She glanced around and eventually found a section of bamboo. She split it open and propped it up on the dirt stove she'd built with rocks. Her cooking vessel was all set. All that was left was oil and salt. Conveniently, there were some ripe hemp seeds nearby. She collected some, put them in the bamboo tube, and crushed them. Then she added some water to them. Next, she started a fire by rubbing sticks together. She picked up a few pieces of wood and placed them on it, waiting for the water in the bamboo tube to heat up. This was an ancient method of extracting oil by boiling. Once heated and boiled in water, the oil naturally separates. Once the water evaporates, what is left is the oil. This process was a bit slow. After setting up the fire, Zhang Xiaoman left the spot. She planned to go get some salt. Xiaoyi followed behind her, chasing after her again. As he walked, he suddenly realized she seemed to have entered the tribe's grounds. So secretive. Just to eat an egg. What in the world was Zhang Xiaoman up to? Xiaoye quietly followed. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaoman, carrying the wild duck eggs, found Luan Ting in a corner. She saw Luan Ting sharpening his weapon with a stone. She walked over with a smile. Luan Ting, could you spare some salt for me? Luan Ting stopped at her words, seeing her skirt still hiked up. His brows furrowed. What do you need salt for? Zhang Xiaoman looked down and pointed to the wild duck eggs she was holding in her skirt. I found some duck eggs, and I want to fry them. Fried eggs? What is that? He'd never heard of such a thing. He looked at her, a little confused. You crack them open, then you add oil and salt, and cook them, and then you'll have a delicious fried egg dish. Xiaoyi, still hiding behind them, saw Zhang Xiaoman fawning all over Luan Ting. A flicker of disdain crossed his emerald eyes. A mocking smirk played on his lips. So, she just got some eggs and decided to suck up to Luan Ting. But when he heard her next words, his face instantly fell. Once I'm done making them, I'll bring some over for you to eat. Those were clearly his eggs. Why should Luan Ting get to eat them? Too bad. Running out to snatch the eggs now would be a bit embarrassing. Xiaoyi thought for a moment, and a strange smile crept onto his lips. Then he left the scene. One of Xiaoyi's powers was shadowless tracking. Once he activated this power, he could turn invisible. So Luan Ting and she had no idea. Xiaoye was hiding nearby, listening in on their conversation, and they certainly didn't notice when he'd already left. Luan Ting listened and coolly refused. No, thanks. With that, he pulled out some salt from his pouch and offered it to her. This is all I have. Will this do? Zhang Xiaoman took the salt pouch. She nodded. Plenty. I'll make you some fried eggs later. The oil was still rendering over the fire. After getting the salt, she hurried back to her cooking spot. Xiaoyi returned, his eyes fixed on the cooking setup. What in the world is she making? Smells pretty good, actually. Xiaoyi couldn't help but take a few more sniffs. When Zhang Xiaoman finally rushed over, she saw Xiaoye squatting by the fire, looking like he was inspecting something. She held her breath, terrified. He might accidentally ruin all the oil she'd worked so hard to render. She slowly walked up to him, forcing a small smile. What are you doing here? Hearing the tension in Zhang Xiaoman's voice, Xiaoyi raised an eyebrow. He held out his hand. If you want this stuff to stay in one piece, hand over the duck eggs. Her precious eggs, which she'd worked so hard to get. How could she just hand them over? Zhang Xiaoman stared at Xiaoye, playing dumb. Eggs? What eggs? Xiao Ye crossed his arms, giving her a sidelong glance, a smirk playing on his lips. Need me to refresh your memory? You snatched 6 eggs from the reeds. I'd spotted those eggs yesterday. Was planning to make them for breakfast. Who knew you'd swipe my eggs? Zhang Xiaoman had been playing innocent, but when Xiao Yi claimed the eggs were his, she burst out laughing. Your eggs. You've got some nerve. Do these eggs have your name on them? Seeing she wasn't backing down, Xiao Ye decided not to waste any more breath arguing. I don't care what you think. If you want this stuff to stay here, then give me back the eggs. Zhang Xiaoman had felt like she was winning, but then she saw Xiao Ye about to dump the oil. Her expression instantly changed. She quickly smiled and said, let's talk about this nicely. No need to be so drastic. Xiao Ye scoffed. There is nothing to discuss with you. Just hand over the eggs. Zhang Xiaoman tried to negotiate. Xiao Ye just grunted. All 6. You're not leaving me even one? She couldn't quite accept that, realizing a head-on approach wouldn't work. She rolled her eyes and took a step back. Tell you what, you don't have to dump the oil. How about I make all 6 fried eggs, and we share them? Fried eggs, are they really that good? Zhang Xiaoman nodded. Of course. Seeing Xiao Ye still looked skeptical, she thumped her chest and declared, if you don't believe me, I can make 2 for you to try first. With that, she pulled out the salt she'd gotten from Luan Ting. I even have salt. With this, the flavor will be amazing. He thought for a moment and reluctantly agreed. Fine, only 2 then. Zhang Xiaoman nodded and went to the cooking fire. She waited until the oil sizzled loudly over the fire. Then she cracked an egg and put it into the bamboo tube, added some salt, stirred it well, and poured it into the pan. As the fire heated it, the egg gave off a delicious aroma. The eggs in the bamboo tube turned a rich golden yellow. They looked incredibly appetizing. Seeing this, Xiao Yi was actually a bit surprised. He never expected Zhang Xiaoman to know how to cook eggs like this. Once the eggs were golden brown on both sides, she tore off 2 sticks and handed them over. Try some. Xiao Ye didn't hesitate for long. He picked up an egg, blew on it, and put it in his mouth. As the rich egg flavor spread through his mouth, his eyes lit up. He couldn't help but take a second bite, seeing him preoccupied. Zhang Xiaoman quickly cracked the rest of the eggs. She put them in the bamboo tube, added salt, stirred them well, then poured them all into the hot oil. By the time Xiao Yi realized what was happening, she had already fried all the remaining eggs. He reached out with the stick in his hand, ready to grab another egg, but Zhang Xiaoman quickly scooped them up and covered them with the bamboo tube. The 2 eggs are done. These are all mine. With that, she stuffed the eggs into her mouth. Xiao Yi stood there, dumbfounded. Zhang Xiaoman was incredibly fast. One bite after another, the eggs vanished. The eggs in the bamboo tube disappeared right before Xiao Ye's eyes. Her thick lips were greasy, and she looked rather fierce. Xiao Yi stared, utterly baffled. Zhang Xiaoman is truly getting more and more disgusting. Just watching her eat an egg makes me want to puke. Zhang Xiaoman finished eating and raised an eyebrow. Want more? Oops, too bad. I ate it all. Xiao Ye, who had been craving more food, lost his appetite completely after seeing her barbaric way of eating. He walked away with a look of utter disdain. After Xiao Yi left, Zhang Xiaoman quickly glanced at the ground. In the clean bamboo tube, there were clearly 2 golden yellow eggs still sitting there. She had hidden them when Xiao Yi wasn't looking. The eggs she promised to bring to Luan Ting. Meanwhile, Luan Ting was still in the same spot, carving weapons with a stone knife. Seeing how focused he was, Zhang Xiaoman's lips curved into a smile. She smoothed her skirt and walked over to him. Luan Ting, these are the eggs I made. Thanks for the salt. Luan Ting heard her but didn't look up. With a calm expression, he said, no, thanks. You should eat them yourself. Zhang Xiaoman pushed the bamboo tube closer to Luan Ting. She wasn't giving up easily. You really should try some. They smell amazing. When Luan Ting still didn't move, Zhang Xiaoman just grabbed a piece with her chopsticks and popped it into his mouth. Luan Ting seemed completely unprepared for her sudden move. He was caught off guard and suddenly had a mouthful of egg. The aroma of the egg and the oil instantly spread throughout his mouth. It was completely different from the eggs he usually ate. Seeing him pause, Zhang Xiaoman smiled and asked, pretty good, huh? Luan Ting chewed a few times and swallowed. He nodded, a rare gesture from him. It is good. Seeing Luan Ting respond, her eyes crinkled into a smile. She beamed. Finally, she felt a little closer to him. Noticing Luan Ting had only taken 1 bite, Zhang Xiaoman offered the eggs again. She looked at him expectantly. There is more here. If you like them, have some more. Luan Ting couldn't refuse. He took a few more pieces and ate them. If you like them, I can make them for you again sometime, okay? Luan Ting paused, slightly startled by her words, and glanced at Zhang Xiaoman. His gaze was a little strange. After Zhang Xiaoman finished all this, she waited for the system to chime, but she waited a long time, and the system remained silent. Instead, a furious roar rang out. Zhang Xiaoman, how dare you trick me? She looked up, following the sound. Xiao Ye had walked over without her noticing. Hearing him, Zhang Xiaoman's eyes darted away. She quickly hid behind Luan Ting. Xiao Ye had walked quite a distance away when it hit him that something felt off. There were clearly 6 wild duck eggs. So why, when Su Xiaoman ate them, did the eggs look so tiny? He'd been focused on her lips, then, and hadn't noticed the eggs were the wrong size. To confirm his suspicion, he specifically went back to where Luan Ting had been and saw Zhang Xiaoman feeding Luan Ting. He was absolutely sure Zhang Xiaoman had just tricked him right under his nose. Luan Ting frowned. Hearing Zhang Xiaoman had tricked someone again, he frowned. Seeing her hiding behind Luan Ting, he reached out and grabbed her. Zhang Xiaoman dodged, yelling, "How did I trick you? Didn't you say to fry 2 eggs? Out of 6 total. The other 4 are mine." "That is perfectly reasonable. I said to fry 20 farstet, not that I only wanted 2. Luan Ting heard Zhang Xiaoman and Xiao Yi's argument and pretty much understood what was going on. Seeing Xiao Ye about to grab Zhang Xiaoman with one hand, he quickly intervened to stop him. Xiao Ye's face changed when Luan Ting moved. His expression changed. "Luan Ting, you're protecting her again?" Luan Ting, being called out, didn't show much emotion on his face. He just said calmly, "She is our female leader. You shouldn't hurt her." "Me, hurt Fai Dai hair." Xiao Ye scoffed at his words. He let out a light scoff, his tone laced with contempt. "Summonine, like Fodi her sign. I'd barely bother to lift a finger. Who'd want to bully her? So what are you doing right now?" Luan Ting looked him up and down and gave him a look. Xiao Ye pulled his hand back. He smirked. "She tricked me, that is who. She said she didn't trick you, only fried 2 eggs. Luan Ting remembered what Zhang Xiaoman had said and repeated it. Seeing that Luan Ting was determined to protect Zhang Xiaoman, he looked ready for a fight. Just then, a beastman approached. "Luan Ting, the leader is calling you." Luan Ting nodded. "I'll be right there." Xiao Ye saw Luan Ting about to leave and gave Zhang Xiaoman a smirk, raising an eyebrow. She found him a bit scary. She grabbed Luan Ting's hand and said, "I'm coming with you. Otherwise, after you're gone, I'm afraid he'll beat me to death. Then next time, stay away from him." Zhang Xiaoman was secretly pleased to hear him say that. "You believe me, don't you?" Her heart felt warm. The two of them left together. Xiao Yi didn't chase after them. Zhang Xiaoman walked with Luan Ting for a while. Then they went their separate ways. After Luan Ting left, she took another path. As she walked, she thought, losing weight has to be a step-by-step process. Can't get skinny overnight. The birthmark and skin whitening need to be on the agenda too. If only I had a laser, one zap with that laser, and the birthmark would be gone instantly. Zhang Xiaoman remembered the face masks she used in the apocalypse, but there were none in this primitive society, so she'd just have to make her own. Arbutin and vitamin C were out of the question. But pearl powder might work. With that thought, she ran to the riverbank. She willed it. Soon, white water droplets emerged from her palm. With a shift of her will, the water droplets in her palm swiftly dropped into the water, then quickly searched the river. Once she located some river mussels, she flung the white water droplets from her palm onto the ground. Instantly, a pile of river mussels was tossed onto the ground. Zhang Xiaoman used a stone knife to pry open the mussels, and shimmering, silvery, white pearls appeared before her eyes. Once cleaned, she brought the pearls back to her cave. She found the stone mortar she usually used for grinding leaves inside the cave. After grinding the pearls into a fine powder, she added a suitable amount of water, mixed it thoroughly, then applied it to her face and body. When Fu Feng brought her some meat, he saw a ghostly white face lying in front of the cave entrance. It looked like a chalk-white corpse, evenly coated in ash. It was pretty creepy at first glance, but the person applying it seemed perfectly happy. As she applied it, she hummed a tune he'd never heard before. "I love to bathe. My skin feels great. I love to bathe. My skin is so white." Ever since Zhang Xiaoman came back from the river, not only did her mind seem sharper than before, but she also started acting really strange. The song was childish, but catchy. Before he knew it, Fu Feng was still standing there, not moving. He stepped closer, just about to touch the white powder to see what it was, when Zhang Xiaoman's body suddenly stirred. Covered in powder, she gleamed white in the sunlight. It was a bit unsettling. This idiot. She can't actually think she is dark-skinned, and that some white powder will make her look whiter, right? Even if she coated herself in white, she'd still be a white pig. Fu Feng thought to himself, a hint of disdain in his mind. Zhang Xiaoman was closing her eyes, waiting for the mask to absorb. Dozing off, she saw a figure flash before her eyes. Startled, she immediately opened her eyes. She saw Fu Feng staring at her oddly, with a hint of contempt in his eyes. He also seemed to be carrying something in his hand. She immediately jumped. "Fu Feng, is something wrong?" Fu Feng tossed the meat in front of her. He let out a cold snort. "Even if you paint your body white, you're not going to look any better. So don't bother wasting your effort and make the tribe laugh at us." Zhang Xiaoman was speechless. "I'm just putting on a mask at home. What is it to you? You'd better just stay in your cave by yourself. That dye won't make you white. It'll only make you a laughingstock." Suddenly, she exploded in anger. "This is real pearl powder, okay? Are you blind?" But before she could argue, Fu Feng left with a grim face. Zhang Xiaoman looked at the baffling man and shook her head. Blind eyes are one thing, but his heart's blind too. At this moment, Zhang Xiaoman rubbed her face. Her face felt dry. She washed off the pearl mask from her face, looking at her reflection in the water pool inside the cave. Though blurry, she was still clearly ugly, especially that birthmark. It swayed with the water, making it even harder to look at. If only she could get rid of this eyesore. She suddenly remembered Fu Feng's comment about dye. System, I have something to ask you. Is there a dye that can make a person's skin dark? Yes, black phoenix fruit. Some tribes use it to darken their skin, to make themselves appear more imposing. So where can I find it? Why are you asking? Zhang Xiaoman paused. Everyone else's systems are like warm, fuzzy blankets, but mine's a black-hearted piece of junk. She rolled her eyes. Don't you think my nails could use some color? My whole hand is dark. Wouldn't it look better if my nails were dark too? The system's lips twitched. It finally grudgingly accepted her explanations. Immediately after, she rushed out the door to look for that black phoenix fruit. Of course, she wasn't really looking for it to dye her nails. She wanted to test something. Was her face actually dyed? She remembered the original owner of this body was raised by a black bear when she was little, so it wasn't a stretch to imagine this. The system had been very clear. Soon, Zhang Xiaoman found the black phoenix fruit underneath some thorny bushes. A deep, dark purple, but she wasn't in a rush to pick it. Instead, she took a few leaves from its branches. Every bane has its antidote. These leaves might just be the antidote to this dye. After Zhang Xiaoman crushed a black phoenix fruit, her finger got even darker, just as she'd figured. After dyeing her last pale fingernail black, she crushed the freshly picked leaves in her hand and rubbed them on. In no time, her nails really did come clean. Seeing this unfold, her confidence soared. She gathered a huge pile of black phoenix fruit leaves, crushed them, and applied them to her face. After waiting a bit and washing her face, she noticed her face actually looked a little bit lighter. To really test this theory, Zhang Xiaoman crushed all the remaining black phoenix fruits and applied them to her face. She'd just barely laid down in bed. When the system went off, after checking the info on the panel, Zhang Xiaoman was ecstatic. After Luan Ting ate her egg, his feelings for her had indeed gone up again. But what she hadn't expected was that Xiao Yi's affection rating had gone up a bit too. Zhang Xiaoman was a little unsure. She asked the system, "Are you sure there is nothing wrong with Xiao Yi's data?" Confirmed. All system data is normal. Xiao Yi's data checks out. Could it be because I made him duck eggs earlier today? That was the only thing I could think of. If that is the reason, then next time, I'll know how to approach him to win Xiao Yi over. Looks like I'll have to find a chance to test it out next time. Besides the questionable data for Xiao Yi, she was totally stumped by the increase in Fu Feng's affection too. Was it just because I didn't seek him out that his affection went up? Men are impossible to figure out. Seriously, I just don't get it. Zhang Xiaoman worked at it all night, and after realizing the black phoenix fruit wasn't doing anything for her either, she gave up, disappointed. But who would have thought? When she woke up the next morning, she found the birthmark on her face was mostly gone. Barely a trace of it remained. Just a faint mark was left behind. So it really was just dye, after all. The original owner never had a birthmark to begin with. Even the skin on my neck and hands had lightened considerably. If that is the case, I might actually be fair-skinned underneath it all. That thought made me pretty happy. So I applied the remedy I'd concocted yesterday all over again. Just then, though, urgent drums, whistles, and shouts suddenly erupted from outside. The flood's coming. Everyone, gather at the plaza. Zhang Xiaoman was startled to hear that. How could there be a flood, all of a sudden? She then followed the crowd to the center of the plaza. Her father, Su Yang, stood on a high platform, announcing to everyone in the tribe that they needed to migrate to the higher slopes. The plaza wasn't far from the river. Just a few steps back was the riverbank. Zhang Xiaoman reached out and touched the water. She found the current was rushing and heavy with silt. Hearing her father say they should head for the higher slopes, she frowned and raised her hand. "Father, I have something to say." Su Yang looked at Zhang Xiaoman with her hand raised. His face darkened. He snapped, "What are you messing around with? Go back and pack your things." The disgust on his face was completely unconcealed. Zhang Xiaoman raised her hand a little higher. "Father, we can't go to high ground. If it pours and there is a landslide, we won't have time to evacuate. Heading southeast is the safest bet. The land there is a bit lower, and it is not near any water source, so there won't be any flood." After her words, the tribe fell silent for a moment, then burst into thunderous laughter. "Ha ha ha. That is hilarious. A flood's coming, and you're not going to high ground? You're running to low ground instead?" Mo Xuan, Fu Feng, Xiao Ye, and Luan Ting heard this, and also frowned a bit. But Zhang Xiaoman ignored the murmuring around her, her gaze fixed directly on Su Yang. "Dad, I'm not pulling this out of thin air. I've awakened my water abilities. I just got a read on the water. This current is super unstable. We're in for some massive downpours. Talk is cheap." She then dashed out of the crowd and headed straight for the riverbank. She focused her mind and drew water droplets right out of the river, then flicked them onto the ground. This unexpected display stunned everyone there, including her 4 beast husbands, and Su Yang, the tribe leader himself. He stood there, dumbfounded for a moment. Then he burst out laughing. "That is my girl. Who knew she had such a talent? The crowd's eyes on Zhang Xiaoman were a mix of scrutiny and curiosity, as well as jealousy and suspicion. Since you've got water abilities, we'll follow your lead today. Su Yang's attitude did a complete 180. Zhang Xiaoman managed a weak smile. Bow wow. Talk about a quick change of heart. Fen. Everyone immediately went back to pack their belongings. She hurried back too, grabbing just a few animal furs. She kept her dad's words in mind. Travel light. Zhang Xiaoman figured everyone else would think the same. But when she got to the plaza and looked around, the plaza, which had just been bustling with people, was now surrounded by a pack of wolves, big and small. Each one was either gray-furred or white-furred, and each had a female riding on its back. Some even had a stone pot clutched in their jaws. Well, they're using wolves like pack mules. Before she could even finish that thought, 4 pairs of eyes were staring right at her. Zhang Xiaoman suddenly felt both scared and completely flustered. It was her dad who finally spoke up, clearing up the mystery in her mind. Her dad, in his grayish wolf form, with her mother Lanya riding on his back, used his naturally booming wolf voice to say, "Su Xiaoman, what are you dawdling for? Get on your beast, husband already. Can't you see the whole tribe is waiting on you? Sit on a beast, husband." Bai. Zhang Xiaoman scanned the wolf pack and then realized every single female was perched atop a magnificent wolf. Even Su Nuanuan was no exception, riding on her brother Su Zhao. 7 No. Wonder those 4 were staring at me. They wanted to see who I'd pick to ride. Zhang Xiaoman gave the 4 of them an awkward glance. Her eyes landed on one, and she ultimately decided to head towards Luan Ting, who seemed the most approachable. But just as she started to approach him, her dad called out to him, "Luan Ting, go take a head count." The moment Luan Ting left, 4 became 3. Or, to be precise, a black panther, a dragon, sparrow, and a purple snake. The 3 distinct beasts were all glaring at her, with looks of pure disgust. Zhang Xiaoman looked at the unwilling bunch. Picking any of them would be a disaster. Feb. I'm gonna be disliked no matter who I pick. Fede. Why not pick the one that'll be most comfortable for me? Xiaoye was out first. His scales were the roughest. If I plop my butt down on that, the wenti and it starts twisting and turning fetting. Fin my butt would be chafed raw. Fu Feng's fur looked pretty comfy, but his body seemed a bit on the small side. Riding him, the seat would definitely feel a little cramped. Mo Xuan's leopard print ride, though, looked the most reliable. Long body, long legs. Simi butt definitely wouldn't suffer on that. With that thought, Zhang Xiaoman quickly scrambled onto him before he could even react. She hugged his neck tightly, scared he'd try to shake her off. Mo Xuan hadn't expected this. Zhang Xiaoman actually picked him. Isn't she usually terrified of me? Fidai. Her nerves grown lately. Bidai. Fiend. She actually dares to use her chubby hands. Daodo. Choke my neck. Va. Fi de duent. Gross. Sen. He desperately wanted to shake her off, but Dad was watching him this time. He had no choice but to accept. Everyone then headed in the direction Zhang Xiaoman had pointed. Meanwhile, Father took the lead, shooting out from the wolf pack like a bolt of lightning. Seeing him sprint ahead, the other wolves followed suit. They followed suit. Mo Xuan, with Zhang Xiaoman on his back, also joined them, back with the wolf pack. Su Nuanuan, riding high, glared fiercely at Zhang Xiaoman as she rode away. Her eyes were filled with bitter envy. That spot should have been hers. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaoman, while she'd gotten her wish and was riding Mo Xuan, the experience was anything but pleasant. She couldn't tell if Mo Xuan was doing it on purpose, but he deliberately avoided the smooth, grassy patches and chose only the bumpiest paths, leaving her to bounce and sway wildly. Her brains felt like they were getting scrambled, and she was seeing stars. To keep herself from falling off, Zhang Xiaoman had no choice but to cling to Mo Xuan's neck for dear life. As Mo Xuan ran ahead, hearing Zhang Xiaoman's constant yelps, he let out a booming laugh. Serves her right for picking him. He'd make sure she regretted it. She'd never choose him again after this. But he was so caught up in messing with Zhang Xiaoman, he didn't even notice. Zhang Xiaoman's grip on his neck was getting tighter and tighter. He stopped dead and shot Zhang Xiaoman a furious glare. "Let go of my neck. If you fall off and die, it is on you." Zhang Xiaoman loosened her grip a little and seized the chance to negotiate. "I'll let go, but only if you don't run so fast. Otherwise, I'll have to keep holding onto your neck." Mo Xuan didn't want to agree, but he didn't have much choice. As they approached a cliff, Mo Xuan took a few steps back and said coldly, "Hold on tight. If you fall, it is not my problem." Hearing that, Zhang Xiaoman instinctively reached for his neck again. But then she remembered their agreement. She had no choice but to lower her hands. Spotting Mo Xuan's broad, flat stomach, Zhang Xiaoman's eyes lit up. She flattened herself against his back, wrapping her arms around his middle. Mo Xuan was in the middle of a powerful lunge forward when he suddenly felt a strange tightening around his belly. This Zhang Xiaoman really couldn't keep her hands to herself. And now she was touching his belly. A shiver ran down his stomach. It was a little ticklish. He nearly bucked Zhang Xiaoman right off, mid-air as he was. He couldn't just stop. He let out an angry growl instead to show his displeasure. Because of the tension and momentum, Zhang Xiaoman's body involuntarily shifted forward a bit. Fodent, this damn ugly creature, just stay put. Where exactly was her butt rubbing? But ever last attempt to climb into his bed failed stubborn teeth. Foso, now she was trying a sneak attack. Did she have no shame at all? The moment she finished her little slide, she noticed Mo Xuan's body had tensed up. Zhang Xiaoman let out a nervous chuckle and quickly straightened herself out. My bad. Just a mistake, not on purpose. Mo Xuan snorted, clearly not buying her story. Zhang Xiaoman knew it was because of her past attempts to climb into his bed. Luckily, Mo Xuan didn't try to shake her off. Once they landed, Zhang Xiaoman completely released her grip and stayed perfectly still. The two of them continued on their way in an unusual silent understanding. But soon enough, Mo Xuan started to feel the strain. That ugly Zhang Xiaoman. Fend, why does she eat so much? Fifteen. I was already tired enough carrying the luggage. Sedef. And now, he had to carry her too. 13. Zhang Xiaoman also picked up on the awkward situation. She licked her lips and said sheepishly, hey, maybe we should stop and take a break. Mo Xuan glanced back at Fufeng, who was following. Then he darted his eyes forward. He said nothing. Zhang Xiaoman followed his gaze to the side. A purple-faced Xiaoye strutted along beside them. He shot them a look. Rough ride, huh? He scoffed, not bothering to be polite. Mo Xuan's got to carry this dead weight. Tired, are we? Zhang Xiaoman was speechless. Did he really have to say that out loud? Mo Xuan shot Xiaoye a look. He didn't say anything. Xiaoye huffed. He strutted off ahead and shot them a taunting look over his shoulder. Zhang Xiaoman thought for a moment. She rummaged in her bag and pulled out a pouch of sour plums. Opening it, she leaned down, took one out, and held it up to Mo Xuan. These are sour plums. I made myself. Want some? For an energy boost. Mo Xuan wouldn't usually bother with them, but Zhang Xiaoman was just so heavy. He really was running out of steam. Thinking this, Mo Xuan pursed his lips and took the plum from Zhang Xiaoman's hand with his mouth. The yellow plum in his mouth wasn't dry or overly sour, and even had a hint of sweetness when he chewed. He'd never tasted a plum this good before. After finishing one, he was still craving more. Zhang Xiaoman had thought Mo Xuan wouldn't pay her any mind. She was surprised he actually took it. A smile tugged at the corner of her lips. Seeing this, Zhang Xiaoman immediately offered him a few more. Mo Xuan, sure enough, didn't refuse and took a few more into his mouth. The two of them, who had barely spoken before, now had Zhang Xiaoman occasionally feeding Mo Xuan, and she could even, when he wasn't looking, pet his smooth, sleek fur. And you know what? Even though a leopard's fur wasn't as long as a wolf dog's or a lion's, it still felt soft to the touch, not prickly at all. The human and the leopard continued their journey in harmony. Sun Wanwan had initially been watching Zhang Xiaoman, expecting a laugh, but who knew? Zhang Xiaoman was sitting there just fine. How could this be? Mo Xuan just let Zhang Xiaoman, this ugly freak, sit on him like that? Zhang Xiaoman, of course, didn't notice any of this. She counted the sour plums in her arms. They were almost all gone. Good thing, they'd already reached their destination. After traveling all this way, the werewolves of the tribe were already thirsty and hungry. Father found a spot for everyone to rest. Mother Lanya, meanwhile, gathered all the females to pick fruit. Zhang Xiaoman was no exception, of course, but after these beastmen had traveled so far, just eating wild fruit wouldn't be enough to fill them up. After a long, tiring journey, something with a bit of fat would settle better in their stomachs and feel much better. Zhang Xiaoman looked around, hoping to find some wild game, but she was spotted by Sun Wanwan's two cronies, who were keeping a close eye on her. Zhang Xiaoman, slacking off again. Can't you see how tired everyone is? Mother, who was directing people to pick fruit from the trees up ahead, heard the two of them and immediately turned to scold Zhang Xiaoman. You better hustle. If I catch you slacking off today, you won't get any food at lunchtime. Sun Wanwan heard Zhang Xiaoman getting yelled at and felt a secret thrill. But she still had to pretend to be kind and generous. Mother, don't be so hard on Xiaoman. She is just a little playful. Zhang Xiaoman pursed her lips. This white lotus really is something else. She condemned me in just a few words. Thinking that Mother Lanya didn't care for her either, she clapped her hands and said, fine, if I don't get food, I don't get food. I'll go find my own. With that, she took off in a flash. Sun Wanwan watched Zhang Xiaoman leave. A hint of a smile flickered in her eyes. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaoman scanned the surrounding trees. She was wondering if she should set up some kind of trap or snare to catch some birds. Suddenly, she saw something with a long, long tail and colorful feathers flash past her eyes. She let out a small laugh. This wild pheasant is perfect. There was black soil nearby. Zhang Xiaoman dug around with a stone. After catching a few earthworms, she made a simple bird trap. Then she found a place to hide. Xiaoye wasn't a fan of wild berries. He wandered around, wondering if he could find some wild eggs to eat, but he hadn't gone far when he spotted Zhang Xiaoman sneaking around, hiding nearby. Her eyes seemed fixed on something. His first thought was, that ugly freak. She couldn't have found wild eggs again, could she? She snatched those eggs last time, and Xiaoye felt he'd let her off too easy. This time, no matter what, he'd take them for himself. With that in mind, he crouched low and crept closer. But just as he squatted down, he saw Zhang Xiaoman staring blankly at a leaf and there was nothing there. Absolutely nothing. No duck eggs, huh? He looked at Zhang Xiaoman, suspicious. What kind of trick was she playing now? Suddenly, a chicken burst out, then plunged headfirst into the leaf and started scrambling frantically to escape. Xiao Yi raised an eyebrow. So this ugly female was actually trapping chickens here. Xiao Yi let out a slight himp. She got to those duck eggs first last time, but this time, since he caught this chicken, it would serve as compensation for Zhang Xiaoman's earlier actions. Quick as a flash, he coiled his tail around it, instantly snagging the wild chicken. Zhang Xiaoman watched helplessly as the wild chicken vanished right before her eyes. When she looked up again, she saw a pair of cold, purple eyes staring back at her. At first, she was a little scared, but once she recognized him, she burst out cursing. Xiao Ye, give me back my chicken. How could Xiao Ye let go? He already had the chicken wrapped in his tail and was about to leave. Zhang Xiaoman immediately chased after him, but humans are no match for a snake's speed. After just a few steps, she was already out of breath, just as it looked like the chicken was about to be roughly devoured by Xiao Ye. Zhang Xiaoman urgently shouted, "Stop, hold it right there. If I cook this chicken properly, I'll give you a drumstick." Xiao Yi heard her, but didn't care one bit. He lifted the chicken and was about to take a bite. Zhang Xiaoman closed her eyes briefly. "Okay, how about half and half then? That is fair, right?" Afraid Xiao Yi wouldn't agree, she quickly added, "If you just eat it raw like that, it's a huge waste. I know a much tastier way to prepare it." Hearing that, Xiao Yi paused. "What way?" Zhang Xiaoman took the chicken, found a stone, and with a single slice to its carotid artery, the chicken instantly drew its last breath in her hands. As a snake-type beastman, Xiao Yi had often killed chickens by biting their necks when he ate them. He'd never found it cruel. In his view, it was simply the law of the jungle, survival of the fittest. But seeing Zhang Xiaoman do it so swiftly and decisively, he felt a strange flicker of admiration. As he watched, his eyes started to feel a bit hazy. After Zhang Xiaoman removed the chicken's entrails, she handed the chicken to Xiao Ye. Holding it, an incredulous expression appeared on Xiao Yi's face. "Don't tell me, your beggar's chicken is already done just like that." Zhang Xiaoman looked at him as if he were an idiot. "I ask you to hold it for a second, not to eat it. I need to go find some seasonings. I've already prepped this chicken, and if you put it on the ground, it'll get dirty. If ants get on it, we won't be able to eat it." Hearing this, Xiao Ye grudgingly reached out and took it. He paused, then asked, "Where are you going to find spices?" Zhang Xiaoman scanned her surroundings. "We'll know once we look." Xiao Yi figured guarding the chicken alone would be pretty boring. He might as well see what kind of spices Zhang Xiaoman was looking for, so he said, "I'll come with you." As soon as he said that, Zhang Xiaoman gave Xiao Yi a strange look. She hadn't misheard, had she? Xiao Ye was actually offering to accompany her. Xiao Ye finished speaking, but then he felt his own words sounded a bit awkward, even creepy. It almost sounded like he was inviting Su Xiaoman somewhere. Thinking a bit deeper, he realized it is what normal beast-human couples in the tribe did all the time. This kind of thing, using the excuse of accompanying their female partners to gather fruit, when in reality, they'd just find a secluded spot to get busy. Seeing the look in Su Xiaoman's eyes, it seemed she'd completely misunderstood him. Xiao Ye awkwardly tacked on, "If I don't go with you, who knows? You might pick some poisonous mushrooms or something like that. Then, when you're making the chicken, you'll secretly add other stuff to it." As he said it, he shot Su Xiaoman a quick, suspicious glance. It was like he had some lingering trauma. After all, it is not like you haven't pulled stunts like that before. The stuff Xiao Yi was referring to was none other than a certain aphrodisiac fruit used in the tribe during intimate moments. The original owner had been the subject of much ridicule in the tribe. Before she tried to sneak into Mo Xuan's bed in the middle of the night, she'd once drugged her fifth beast husband, Nan Tu. That was also why Nan Tu had gone on a long journey, far away. When Su Xiaoman heard this part of the story, she felt another wave of exasperation. Why did the original owner only do such crazy, off-the-wall stuff? But even with that, Su Xiaoman still felt compelled to remind Xiao Ye, "I'm eating the same chicken as you, you know." Xiao Yi replied, unconvinced, "How would I know? You wouldn't just mess with my portion. It is safer if I watch you myself." Su Xiaoman realized she couldn't convince Xiao Yi at all. She simply gave up trying. If he wanted to tag along, fine, but the most important thing right now was to find some big leaves to wrap the chicken in, and, of course, the spices for seasoning. She'd thought things like star anise and cinnamon would be impossible to find, but surprisingly, she found them right after going down a small slope. Next, Su Xiaoman searched for a long time. Finally, she found some wild scallions under a patch of thorns. She pulled out a huge handful without a second thought. Xiao Ye followed behind Su Xiaoman, completely baffled by what she was doing. A little later, she did something even crazier. She picked up a rock from the ground. Then she knelt down and started digging into the dirt with it. That kneeling posture, Xiao Ye's eyebrow twitched slightly. "That looks awful," he thought, "but when she moves it is kinda interesting." Her butt, though, was pretty well formed, like a peach. Actually, it was kind of sexy. Zhang Xiaoman was patiently digging up Ginger. Suddenly, the system chimed. Ding. Xiaoyi's heartbeat value has changed. Host, would you like to view it? Zhang Xiaoman froze at that. Didn't this guy just spend the whole time complaining about her? How did his heartbeat value go up? Zhang Xiaoman knew, without even turning around, that Xiaoyi's face right now probably wasn't a pretty sight. She didn't stop digging. She inwardly asked the system, did his heartbeat value just go up by 0.1? It increased by 5 points. The system's robotic voice replied. Zhang Xiaoman almost sprained her wrist, digging for Ginger. I didn't even do anything. How on earth did Xiaoyi's heartbeat value go up? A rustling sound caught his ear. It drew Xiaoye's attention. He turned his head to look and snapped in a nasty tone. Don't even think about faking a sprained ankle, just to make me carry you. Zhang Xiaoman was speechless. All right, I'll deal with that later, she thought. After digging out the yellow ginger, she clapped her hands clean. The spices are pretty much all set. Now all that is left is to find a big leaf. She scanned her surroundings and spotted a massive banana tree in the distance. It was so tall, it practically touched the clouds. Zhang Xiaoman put down the things she'd gathered. Then, after a quick warm-up, she started climbing the tree. Xiaoye was standing nearby, and at first, he didn't quite react. It wasn't until Zhang Xiaoman was truly scaling the tree that he snapped to attention. He yelled, "Oh no," he just found a clean spot for the chicken in his hand and set it down. When Zhang Xiaoman suddenly tumbled down from above, she crashed straight down onto Xiaoyi. Zhang Xiaoman's animal skin skirt got caught on the banana tree. Her entire butt was exposed. And wouldn't you know it, Xiaoye's hand landed right on it. When Zhang Xiaoman fell from the tree, her head was spinning. Once she came to, she realized she'd landed on a firm, powerful chest. His muscles were so well developed, bulging, firm, and springy. Zhang Xiaoman couldn't help but swallow. But before she could get a good look, she suddenly felt something grab her butt. Then, her backside felt a little cold and a bit breezy. It seemed like there was nothing covering it. It dawned on Zhang Xiaoman, a moment too late. The last bit of animal skin she'd wrapped around her waist, her only skirt was gone. And of all the luck, she'd fallen right on top of Xiaoye. His hands seemed to still be on her two butt cheeks. Zhang Xiaoman was mortified and embarrassed. Embarrassed that she was completely naked right now. Ashamed that her butt was being touched by Xiaoye. She wondered if she should get up. If she got up, wouldn't her front be completely exposed? And the moment she stood up, Xiaoyi would see side-eye everything. But if she didn't get up, her rear end felt really awkward. Honestly, she was terrified of doing something crude right now. What if she accidentally let out a fart? Then, Xiaoye, caught between a rock and a hard place, Zhang Xiaoman didn't dare make a move. She could only carefully lie on Xiaoyi, breathing softly. That hand, let him keep it there if he wants. Better than startling Xiaoye and having him tell me to get up. Meanwhile, Xiaoyi, who had inexplicably become a human cushion, had an expression he couldn't quite articulate. Before he could even push her off, he felt his hand touch something fleshy. It was bigger than his palm. After he gave it a squeeze, he realized it was a little smooth, 2 round halves, with a crease in between. What else could it be but Zhang Xiaoman's butt? The next second, he practically roared, "Zhang Xiaoman, you're not even wearing your animal skin skirt." Zhang Xiaoman closed her eyes, pretending to be unconscious. It wasn't that she didn't care about her own modesty. It was just that, in this situation, she truly didn't know how to handle it. Maybe Xiaoyi would get so mad, he'd just throw her off and leave her there. That would at least get her through this awkward moment. Once Zhang Xiaoman made up her mind, she kept up the act. The person in front of her didn't move. Xiaoyi thought she'd knocked herself out. He disgustedly pulled his hand away and was about to push Zhang Xiaoman off. But the moment he moved, this chubby female's hand started getting restless. It actually went down. That completely sobered Xiaoyi up. Zhang Xiaoman was faking it. He gritted his teeth and yelled, "Zhang Xiaoman, where are you putting your hand?" Hearing that, Zhang Xiaoman's face was full of confusion. "I didn't move." The next second, her face flushed. How did her hand go down there? She really hadn't put her hand there on purpose. It was when Xiaoyi pushed her away. Her hand accidentally landed there. Faced with this awkward situation, Zhang Xiaoman had no choice but to open her eyes. If I said I didn't mean to, would you believe me?" Xiaoye's face was filled with disgust. "Get off me." Zhang Xiaoman shook her head, a bit embarrassed. "I can't get down right now." Zhang Xiaoman, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you, if you don't get off, I can't guarantee what I'll do. Xiaoye, hearing Zhang Xiaoman's words, had no patience left. He delivered his final ultimatum. Don't think she can seduce him this way. Zhang Xiaoman's face was burning red. I can't get down, she mumbled, a bit hesitant. I can't get up without my skirt. She licked her lips again. Of course, if you don't mind me standing up. I don't mind either. Xiaoye heard her, and his face went dark. She might be shameless, but I'm not. And with her pile of flab, all dark and dingy, what is there to even look at? Xiaoye gritted his teeth, turned his head away, and closed his eyes. I'm not looking. Go find it yourself. Zhang Xiaoman bit her lip. She covered herself with both hands and stood up straight. She quickly ran to the banana tree, took down the yellow hide skirt hanging from it, and wrapped it around her waist. "I'm all set." After making sure she was properly dressed, she let out a deep breath. Hearing her, Xiaoyi got up. He didn't even glance at her and was about to turn and leave. Su Xiaoman looked at the tall banana tree. Recalling her failed attempt to climb it earlier, she finally spoke up. "Xiaoyi, we haven't gathered the leaves yet." Xiaoye stopped at her words. He glanced at the lush green banana tree. Then he transformed into his true form, twisting his body. He quickly shot up the banana tree. Before long, several fresh green leaves dropped from the air. Su Xiaoman bent down and picked up a few. "That is enough," she nodded. After saying that, Su Xiaoman buried herself in preparing the chicken in her hands. After the series of events that had just unfolded, Xiaoyi didn't want to say another word to Su Xiaoman. If it weren't for the fact that they hadn't eaten the chicken yet, he would have left ages ago. Su Xiaoman didn't care what expression Xiaoyi had. After all, Xiaoye had always looked down on her. She selected a few clean banana leaves and spread them on the ground. Then she brought over the wild chicken that was set aside and placed it on the banana leaves. Next, she rubbed spices inside the chicken's cavity and then added salt to marinate it. And luckily, there was indeed a damp pit of yellow clay not far away. Su Xiaoman's eyes lit up. She picked up the chicken and headed straight for the mud pit. Xiaoyi wasn't really paying attention to what Su Xiaoman was doing. That is, until he saw her holding a stick, dipping it in the muddy water, and smearing it all over the chicken. He felt like Su Xiaoman had gone crazy. He quickly got up and rushed over. "Why are you covering a perfectly good chicken with mud? That is just a waste of food." Xiaoye took a swift stride forward and pulled her hand back. He said, somewhat angrily, "Su Xiaoman, what do you think you're doing?" Su Xiaoman, however, calmly replied, "I'm making beggar's chicken. Once it is covered in mud, we can roast it directly in the fire. Besides, big bro, I haven't eaten either. I'm going to eat this chicken myself. It won't be ruined." Xiaoye listened, and only then did he loosen his grip. A peculiar look appeared on his face. He had a strange look in his eyes. "Did Su Xiaoman just call me big bro? Of course, she never misses a chance to try and seduce me." After a long time of work, Su Xiaoman finally had the yellow clay evenly spread. Then she gathered some dry branches. After a round of rubbing sticks together to make fire, she got the fire going. She then threw a few sweet potatoes into the dirt near the fire, waiting for them to bake. Beggar's chicken wouldn't be ready anytime soon, so Su Xiaoman picked some wild fruits. She tossed a few to Xiaoye. "This will take a while to cook, so eat these to tide you over." This time, Xiaoyi didn't say anything. He took them and started eating. Who knew what he was thinking? After a while, the sweet potatoes were cooked. Su Xiaoman used a stick to dig a few out. They were hot, right out of the fire, so Su Xiaoman tore off 2 branches, made a pair of chopsticks, peeled off the outer skin. Eating with them, noticing Xiaoye just staring, she snapped off 2 more branches and handed them over. "What are you staring at? Come on, eat up. It won't taste good cold." Once those sweet potatoes were cooked, they gave off a charcoal, roasted aroma. They smelled so sweet. Once Xiaoye had the chopsticks, he copied Su Xiaoman, using them to pick up the food. His mouth was instantly flooded with a sweet, fragrant, and tender flavor. He'd never tasted anything so good. His eyes instantly lit up. He ate several of them, one after another. Su Xiaoman watched Xiaoye devour them, one after another, and chuckled to herself, shaking her head. She figured it was about time. The beggar's chicken should be just about ready. Su Xiaoman started digging up the earth and unearthed the chicken. Then she used a stone to crack open the mud casing. Once the banana leaf was peeled open, a rich aroma of chicken and banana leaves wafted towards them. She tore off a chicken leg and offered it to Xiaoye. "Now you finally believe my mud trick works, don't you?" Xiaoye took a bite. He felt like he'd stepped into a whole new world. His light purple eyes gleamed brighter than ever. This chicken is out of this world. This flavor, compared to how he used to eat it raw, there was no comparison whatsoever. He made up his mind right then and there. From now on, no matter what he ate, he'd just listen to Su Xiaoman, even if she wasn't exactly a looker. Her cooking skills were seriously impressive. Meanwhile, back at the tribe, Lanya returned with a group of females carrying wild fruits. After distributing the fruits to all the beastmen, the group gathered around to eat the wild fruits. Su Yang scanned the crowd. He didn't see Su Xiaoman anywhere. He asked, "Where is Su Xiaoman?" Su Nuanuan quickly spoke up for her. "Xiaoman, she went off to gather things somewhere else." Lanya's brows furrowed at that. "Nuanuan, stop making excuses for her. Su Xiaoman's just being lazy, not bothering to pick any wild fruits. She probably ran off to play somewhere else." Hearing Lanya say that, Su Nuanuan's lips curled into an almost imperceptible smirk. Su Yang frowned. He was just about to say something when suddenly someone stood up. "What is that amazing smell?" Following the irresistible scent, they found Su Xiaoman and Xiaoye sitting by a campfire, and Su Xiaoman was holding a small piece of chicken. "Xiaoman, did you make this chicken? It smells incredible." There wasn't much chicken left in Su Xiaoman's hand. With so many people showing up, she tore off a piece of chicken and brought it over to Su Yang, who was in the middle of the crowd. "Father, try some." even though Su Yang wasn't particularly fond of her ever since Zhang Xiaoman revealed her water ability that day. Su Yang's attitude towards her had softened. He took it and bit into it. His expression instantly changed. This really does taste good. Seeing Zhang Xiaoman's hands still smudged with ash, it was clear she was the one who made this chicken. After eating something his daughter had made, he gave her some rare advice. Listen, your mother just said you were running around. Don't run off by yourself once it gets dark. It is safer to find a beast mate to stay with. Zhang Xiaoman's face was a picture of confusion. Find a beast mate to spend the night with. She glanced at the three of them in the crowd, and all she felt was a massive headache coming on.